creatures of the night? It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Rampage. It's not too much to talk about. We have All In on Sunday. We also have Collision right before that. So I think the more important stuff is really going to be on Collision prior to the pay-per-view. Now, we did have this episode of Rampage. It was actually taped last Saturday. So after the last Collision I went to last weekend, they taped Rampage. I was still feeling salty about the Kingdom losing their titles, so I was having a hard time getting into the show, to be completely honest with you, but it actually was not a bad show. We started off with the Conglomeration versus Beast Mortos. Lord have mercy, Beast Mortos. Johnny TV and Brian Cage. This was a really strong match to start off the show. This could have also been the main event as well. I absolutely enjoyed this match. Man, I'm telling you, Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe especially, they have this energy. Ishii, he's been holding it down for the summer here in AEW, so I've actually enjoyed him too. But for me, y'all already know, I'm a heel at heart, so I'm always looking out for the heels and wanting them to take a win or whatnot. The Conglomeration, they definitely have had some experience with each other, tagging with each other throughout the summer, and then you can see some of that inexperience in terms of being a team with Beast Mortos, Johnny, and Brian. And there were some hiccups with that team. And I do know some of it was intentional, so that it looked like that they didn't have the best chemistry. But then there was some of them where it's just like, because there's no chemistry, well, not that there isn't any chemistry, but because they don't have experience being with each other, you can definitely see that play out throughout the match. We do have Kyle O'Reilly taking the win here for his team with an armbar onto Johnny TV. And that's exactly what you expected. Now, they're over there celebrating their little win and everything. And I forgot to mention this, but we did have the Undisputed Kingdom there in commentary. It's really Roderick doing all the talking. Matt and Mike are there too, but Roderick is doing most of the talking throughout the match. And after that match, as the Conglomeration is leaving, then the Undisputed Kingdom, they leave the commentary and they meet them up at the stage. And they're just looking at each other or whatever. And Kyle O'Reilly is like, man, I don't got time for this shit. Roderick actually has a match next. He's going against Fuego del Sol. So Roderick makes his way out to the ring. And the Kingdom, they end up following him to be ringside. Then Kyle O'Reilly goes on to join for commentary. And surprise, he did pretty well after having a whole match and being able to just talk just fine doing commentary. And Fuego del Sol, baby, he's another one. He's from Texas. They brought him back as well during the summer that they've been doing the whole residency in Arlington. And we've been seeing some good things from him as well. But when I tell you, Roderick Strong was just like, I'm going to take my frustration out on this dude. Prayers for Fuego. Now, they do mention during commentary. So even though I did see the show, I can't hear commentary, so I don't know what's going on. But on Rampage, they do end up saying that Roderick is going to be part of the Gauntlet match. And also Kyle O'Reilly confirms that he was going to be in the Gauntlet match. And also, yes, so for the opening matchup, they did say that some of the men in this match will be in the Gauntlet, which I found to be interesting. I kind of personally wish we didn't know who we're going to be on. I would have loved for it to be a surprise, but I'm really, really hoping in terms of the Gauntlet match that it's going to be, I would say, several returns and maybe even a debut of someone who's never even been on AEW before. I think that would be really cool if we got something like that at the Gauntlet match. Now, like I said, prayers for Fuego because Roderick Strong was definitely just playing with his food tonight, and he ends up taking the win, obviously, with a backbreaker. Now, Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy, they're looking at each other after the match or whatnot, and then Kyle just ends up walking away. To be honest, I'm kind of hoping that when Roderick finally comes to his senses, that he ends up joining the Undisputed Kingdom. And I don't think that's going to happen until much later. Who knows? Like I said, these guys are going to be in the Gauntlet match at All In, so maybe something might play out between the two of them. Not sure what's going to happen there, but still a really great matchup. Fuego del Sol, I don't know when we're going to see you again, but after that backbreaker, baby, I don't think that's anytime soon. Now, after this, we do have Robin Renegade versus Mina Shirakawa. I I thought this was going to be a squash, and they actually gave these girls, I gotta say, maybe like 8 minutes or so in the ring, and it was a pretty good match. I was really surprised to see that them, because usually when it comes to Rampage, most of the time it's 4 matches, and like 2 of them would be more on the squash side, and then the opening and the main event would be obviously, good amount of time for them to be in the ring. So I was really surprised to see them letting the ladies do their thing here. And Mina is freaking over, and I'll tell you why. Even though I think that she's really talented in the ring, people love her personality. She is full of personality, and that bubbly fun personality that people really do love. And I'm not saying that every woman who come in the ring needs to have that particular personality, but when you have personality that people can fall in love with, then people can resonate with you. So no matter what she does, people absolutely enjoy her in the ring. Do I see her popping up at All In, perhaps taking a side during the women's title match? Probably. That might end up happening. But for this matchup, I think both these ladies did really great. Don't sleep on Robin Renegade. She is really talented, and she plays a heel character very well. And I would love to see more of her on the show. But also another thing too is that I realized that this episode of Rampage really felt like a little slightly more elevated episode of Ring of Honor. Everybody who was on this episode are, I want to say, mostly featured on Ring of Honor, which was interesting. Roderick, I've only seen him maybe once or twice over there. Everyone else have definitely been on there more than AEW. So that was really interesting to see. But Mina ends up taking the win here via submission. And I think we're going to see a lot more of her recently. I mean, up in the next few weeks or whatnot. I did see some pictures of her and Kairi saying they've been working out together, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is cute. I like it. Like I said, Mina definitely has won people over, but we'll see what ends up happening at the pay-per-view, and she ends up picking, I guess, the wrong side, and see if maybe she might end up getting booed. Now, speaking of women, we do have Hikaru Shida, who is pissed the freak off back there, and, she's obviously taking a couple of L's. And, she's like, well, you know what? I've been a champion, and I'm going to be a champion again. I ain't no damn afterthought up in here. And she said the whole freaking locker room is on notice. I'm going to get my way back to the top. And I'm going to be honest, that was a really strong promo. And it's not necessarily just what she said. It was the emotion she put into it, where it's just like, holy shit, she means business. And I probably would be scared too. So what we're going to see with Hikaru Shida, not sure. I'm kind of like keeping my opinions on it like reserved, because we had something similar with what's his name, Lance Archer, where he gave a really strong promo and just basically saying, hey man, I'm not no afterthought, y'all keep overlooking me and whatnot, and I'm one of the best ones in here, I'm a fucking monster. And then what they do, they feed him over to Will Ospreay. So we'll see what ends up happening with Hikaru Shida. After this, we do have the Gates of Agony versus the Iron Savages. This one was a little, not as long or whatnot. The Gates of Agony, when I see them, I just see like how much they've absolutely improved. And you know what? Yeah, I'm looking at this whole thing and I'm just like, this was basically an episode of Ring of Honor, but on Rampage. Gates of Agony, they've improved so much as a team. These guys could be tag team champions. I don't even know why they don't have the titles, to be real with you. Iron Savages, I don't know what happened, but we was expecting to go to Titty City and nothing happened. I don't know what's going on with it. We didn't get to go to Titty City. Whatever. Gates of Agony ends up taking the win. Nothing really much to see here. I would like to see more and more of them featured on AEW. I really feel like, in terms of the tag division, Iron Savages, they're really great. Gates of Agony, really great. However, we just don't get a chance to see enough of these guys. And honestly, we need to fix that. Now, another thing here, I don't remember if they discussed this during the taping, but they end up showing that for the wild card, for the trios title, the fourth team, they don't show who the fourth team, there's two teams here. And listen to this, the two teams that are going against each other at Collision, and whichever one of those get to be in the match for the trios title against House of Black, the Patriarchy, and the Bang Bang Gang. So the two teams are Top Flight, which is Darius and Dante, and they will also be teamed up with Leo Rush, and they are going against Claudio Castagnoli, our boy Willa Yuta, and Pac. I'm looking at this and I'm just like, something don't seem right. And I'm going to tell you what it is. Top Flight has been consistently been with Action Andretti for months. 4 months. They've been putting in that trios work for months. Leo Rush has only been back with AEW for about a month now. And, here and there, the first few weeks, he was pretty much... no, actually, it was more than a month. My bad. It was like maybe around Forbidden Door or whatever. But he at first kind of was trying to get on their side. They kind of had the little reservations about Leo. And then now they all, friends or whatever. And so I found it really, I don't want to say strange, but I thought that's interesting that they would put Leo Rush over Action Andretti for this opportunity. Now, other than that, Pac is teaming with BCC. Now, I know Moxley probably at home and don't want to deal with any of this foolishness, but Pac, who is part of Death Triangle, and Penta and Ray are not going to be teaming up with him. They're not going to be at the pay-per-view. I found that to be interesting because they just seem unlikely in terms of some of these people already have their trios, but now they're being paired up with other people that they're not typically paired up with. So we'll end up seeing what ends up happening with that. I don't know. I'm feeling some type of way about it. So we'll see. Main event, Von Erichs versus the Outrunners. And I didn't think this at first, but watching the episode, I realized this is the first time the Outrunners are in the main event. I don't care what anybody says. The Outrunners, super talented guys. They give you that nostalgic feeling of 80s wrestling, and I love it. I absolutely love it. They're so fun to watch, and I enjoyed them. They go against the Von Erichs, and see, the thing for me is that the Outrunners, they don't come off typically heel, but they do come off like those goofy characters that sometimes can't seem to get it right, but people love them. And throughout the match, you're getting those cheers for the Von Erichs in Texas. However, we also love the Outrunners as well, so they are getting cheered too. And man, I'm just like, I love the love that they're getting. Oh, and another thing too, at Collision taping, they sold out their very first shirts. They put them out and they sold out. Everybody in their mama bought one. I didn't even get a chance to get one. Damn. I guess I'm gonna have to just order from the website. But really great main event. And it was great to see the Outrunners, being in the main event and being able to show people that, hey, we deserve to be in the main event on AEW. So kudos to them. But y'all already know what it is. The Von Erichs end up taking away. And you know what? Kudos to the Von Erichs, because I'm actually pretty happy that they're part of AEW. They have not gotten the graphics yet. But they obviously struck some type of deal with AEW. And it's great to see them being featured on the shows. Von Erichs end up taking the win. He's doing this thing where they're using the claw, but I've also seen them do like a claw slash, instead of a choke slam, they just claw your forehead and slam you down. It's interesting. They end up taking the win, and they're over here celebrating, right? And then here comes our boys, the Kingdom, Toa Leona, Cage, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and them. They come out there and start beating up on Dustin and the Von Erichs. And then here comes, obviously, Sammy Guevara and them coming over, just to make the crowd happy and get rid of the heels. And to be honest, it's like, how many times are we going to keep seeing this same fucking scene? Every single time. And maybe some people may not agree. Like I said, I'm like a heel at heart, so I would love to see the heel really get an upper hand. But I feel like we keep seeing the same situation. Oh, even the conglomeration came out too, right? Did I say that? All the good guys come out, and after they come out, the heels end up leaving. After the show, though, Tony Khan comes out and thank everybody because that's the last show that they're filming in Arlington. I did get a chance to film Tony Ho's speech or whatever. Man, that shit was long. They end up thanking, everybody. Even FTR came out too, not on the show, but after the show, they end up coming out and they do a whole speech for the crowd, and it was a really, really great time. I absolutely enjoyed not just this episode, even though I was still salty about the Kingdom losing, but I enjoyed my time, going to all these shows. And if, you're a fan of wrestling, or maybe if you're not a fan and you just want to experience what it's like to, go to these type of events, go ahead and check them out. Like, you definitely will have a great time. It's a really great vibe, and I can't wait for them to come back again. And if they don't come back until All In, I guess I'm gonna have to just take a damn trip and go somewhere else to go see them, because I absolutely love the atmosphere. I love pro wrestling so much, and I feel good when I'm around that environment. But guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a collision. Bye.